Hello everyone, I'm Ayush Sharma, author and TLB member, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you joining us for episode 10 of the TLB author interview series. Today, I have a pleasure of interviewing the accomplished author and Dr. Abhinav Atulji. So, without further ado, let's welcome our guest, author Dr. Abhinav Atulji. So, I welcome you, Dr. Abhinav Atulji.
Thank you, Ayush, and thank you everyone for having me here. It is a great pleasure. And since we have been having author interviews almost every week, not almost,
Yeah.
actually every week, it is great to be interviewed in on this session on this platform. Let us have a great session.
Okay, so let's start with questions. Or first of all, I want you to introduce yourself.
So, my name is Dr. Abhinav Atul, and I have my social media personality as the versatile doctor. I
Hmm.
am a doctor. I have done my MBBS, and I'm an occupational health specialist. I have been working
Okay,
for the
that's
last
great.
10 years or something. And
Hmm.
I started writing when I was very little, but my first novel, The Fourth Kiss, was published
Okay.
in 2022. So
Hmm.
this I have right here. This is my first novel, which was published in 2022, and since
Okay.
then I have devoted a lot of time into learning about self-publishing, into how what goes into making a book transfer from the
Hmm.
pages of your laptop or your notebook to actually a published book. So this is a brief introduction about me.
Okay, so now let's move to the formal one. So I'm going to start with question first. I think you have already answered it, but now let's dive deeper into this. So when did you first feel drawn to writing, and what made you feel you want to tell stories?
I have been drawn to reading and writing since my childhood. I have been writing school plays when I was in school.
Okay.
I actually acted and directed in two of them in my school
Hmm.
time. But actually, writing stories, I mean, fully formed and structural stories, that came later in life when I was in college. So in college life, I observed a lot of things. There was a lot of pressure in studies and everything. But at the same time, the novels that I read, the stories that I
Hmm.
read, they kind of gave me an escape from the day-to-day problems of life, of college
Okay.
life. I'm not even talking about
Hmm.
adulthood. At that time, I was in college. So then I thought about. I mean, whenever I read a new book, a new story,
Hmm.
a story that actually that I related to, I felt
Okay.
like not only reading, I felt like I can tell a story like this. So that is how it
Hmm.
started, and I started writing. I wrote many drafts, but only one actually got finished, and
Okay.
even
It
after
take a lot of
finishing,
hard work.
yeah, it's yes, of course,
Yeah.
hard work goes there, but it is more about being ready
Passion.
to express ourselves. And
Yes.
the novel, the draft that I wrote, that I had written in
Hmm.
2008 in my college, is the one
Okay.
that got translated into this in 2022.
Okay. So is it based on real story or fiction?
No, it is completely fictional. It is completely fictional.
Okay.
But
Hmm.
like any author,
Hmm.
there are elements, there are thought processes, there are characters which look like or maybe are based on real people. But all
Hmm.
the events and everything that has happened and all the characters, the actual characters, are fictional, completely fictional.
Okay. Your novel focuses on relationships, love, and family pressure. What made you choose these themes, and why do you think they resonate so strongly with readers?
Well, that is a kind of thing that I felt personally.
Hmm.
Um, this is, we are talking about when I was in college. So family pressure was there to perform well
Hmm.
in college and get a good job and everything. And it was well known that ultimately in time I'll have to get married, whether I find someone of my own choice or my parents went for a arranged marriage, but it was something going to happen. So at that time, parental pressure and the structure of society was something that was very
Mm.
heavy on my head. That is why I thought
Okay.
that the experiences that I have had in my personal
Mm.
life, I can translate into and transform into a story which many people will relate to. So
Mm.
that is how it came into being.
Okay, that's great. So, when you are creating a story, how do you usually begin? Do you start with characters, the plot, or maybe a message you want to share?
This is a nice question, and I don't have a straight answer to that. The first story
Okay.
I I wrote, and there was no structure to it. I just
Mm.
felt something, and I started writing, and I wrote and wrote and wrote, and ultimately, once I was maybe 20-30 pages in the draft stage, then
Mm.
I thought that yes, this is the kind of story that I am going to present, and then it
Okay.
came together.
Mm.
It was completely different, completely opposite for the next story, the second novel that I worked on. I
Mm.
started with a complete layout. Even though at
Okay.
the end, the final story that got published was a little bit
Mm.
different from the original layout, but it still had
Okay.
structure from the very beginning. So that is how.
Mm. Okay. So, what is the most memorable feedback you have received from a reader, and how did it make you feel?
About my first book, I think the most memorable feedback that I have received is not from a reader.
Mm.
It goes way back when I was trying to get it published through traditional means, and I
Mm.
got the feedback from one of the traditional publishers, that
Okay.
this story cannot be published because it is much like a Bollywood movie. Now,
Okay.
I still can't believe whether they were serious or not, and whether a story which is like a Bollywood movie is a good thing or bad thing. So
It's a good
that
thing, but
so whatever they meant by it, but it is something
mm.
that I will never forget. That my first story, someone said that it can't be published because it is like a Bollywood movie.
So you can try in films also. You can sell this story to movie directors.
Yes, that is
So
kind
now,
of the
yeah.
ultimate goal, right?
Hmm. So in The Broken Boyfriend, the characters go through a lot of emotional high and lows. What was the hardest part of writing this book and why?
In the boyfriend, the challenge was
Hmm.
to write from the perspective of both characters. So I made a decision
Okay.
early on that I'll write this
Hmm.
book through the point of view of the male character as well as the point of view of the female characters separately. So one chapter is written by the one chapter is narrated by the man and one chapter is narrated by the woman. And
Okay.
writing the female perspective was, I mean, I couldn't even believe how difficult it was. I mean,
Hmm.
like, I know what I want to say. I know what events should take place in the scene or in the chapter, but
Hmm.
making it believable that a woman is thinking about this thing and a woman is acting like this, it was very, very
Hmm.
difficult. It was very, very difficult to make it to not make it like cringe. No, it
Hmm.
is written by a man. So this was the greatest challenge.
I think you have learned a lot by writing this book.
Yes, of course. Every page, every chapter is a new learning.
Hmm. So your novel addresses big themes like family expectations and the struggles of love in Indian society. What do you hope readers will feel or understand after finishing your books?
The only thing that I think my readers should take away from my books is you
Hmm.
have to follow your heart. I know it sounds a cliche and it is a cliche, but the thing is,
Hmm.
see, uh, at the end of the day, you live and you die. You are born alone and you die alone. So whatever
Yes.
time you have in this world, If you
Mm.
keep thinking that what will my parents think, what will my society think, what will my girlfriend or boyfriend think, what will they think, what will they say, how can I do this, how can I do that, this is not good, this is not bad, it means that the majority of your life is spent thinking of what other people are going to say and not actually doing what you want to do, what you think about.
Mm.
So in essence, you are at the end of the day when you go back to bed, you are actually you have lied to yourself the whole day. That is the only
Mm.
thing that I want my readers to take away. Be true to
Okay.
yourself. I know it is very difficult to balance your own emotions and your ambitions and expectations from with those of the people around you, but it is the
Mm.
only way to stay true to yourself.
True to yourself. Yes, I agree. So, do you ever find yourself seeing parts of your own personality in characters you write? Are there any character who are especially close to your heart?
In my first novel, the character of Rishi
Mm.
is very heavily influenced by I mean, my personality at that time.
Okay.
And again, after so many years, when I wrote the
Mm.
character of Harsh, it is also based on my character, my personality at this time. So of course it is a lot different than how I am in as a person in real, but
In real
it
life.
is loosely based on myself.
Mm. Okay. So, when you write about complex emotions and relationships, do you draw on personal experiences to make these feelings more real?
Oh, no, no, no,
Could
no,
you
no.
share an
I
example?
haven't had such kind of such colorful and complicated experiences in my life. I'm thankful for that. But the
Okay.
experiences, the events that are being depicted in through my
Mm.
characters in my books, those are
Mm.
completely fictional.
Okay. So, what's the most challenging part of writing about relationships and emotion?
No, no. Challenging part is uh, to make it real, to make it feel real. I mean,
Mm.
we are just writing English language. There are only a certain number of words and a certain number of grammar that you can put into the words. But when you are reading, it has to
Mm.
feel real. That is the biggest
Okay.
challenge. When I'm writing about emotions, it has to, and it is being written as from the point of view, from the first person point of view.
Mm.
So when I'm listening to someone else explain to me what they are thinking, it has to feel real. It has to feel logical from their
Mm.
perspective. It may not be logical from my perspective, from a reader's perspective, but from the character's perspective, it has to feel real and it has to feel through their logic. That is
Mm.
the thing I try to
Yeah, that's the most
do it.
important part, I think.
Yeah.
So, as a doctor, you deal with many emotional and physical challenges. How has this shaped your approach to writing?
One thing that I am pretty sure that my career and my profession has helped in writing
Mm.
is the physical part, how a person sees another person physically. Uh,
Mm.
I mean, the when a person blushes, what happens? When I am blushing, when a character is blushing, what they
Mm.
feel, thus the other person can see that the person is blushing. But what the person who is blushing, what they feel is something that I think I am able to write better because I know the
Mm.
biology and anatomy and everything.
Yeah. So, how does being a doctor influence your portrayal of characters and emotion in your books? Do you think medical background helps you more them more authentic? I think you have answered this question right
Yeah.
now. So, how do you manage the emotional demands of both your medical work and writing? Do they complement each other in unexpected ways?
Oh no, not at all, not at all. It is very difficult to actually balance my professional life and this. Basically, this is a hobby. So writing is a hobby,
Okay.
and to make time for writing, because writing
Mhm.
actually needs a certain state of mind. You have to be, focused on your story. You have to be calm and you have to be composed when you are typing or writing, and that
Mhm.
doesn't happen when you are at work.
So what motivates you to pursue both medicine and writing, and how do you balance these two demanding careers?
See, medicine is my profession. It has been my profession for a long time.
Mm,
I even though I uh, loved writing when I
mm,
was in school, when I didn't even know that I would become a doctor, but at one point I had left my dream of writing. I even stopped reading at one part of time because there
mm.
was too much going on in my life through medical college and everything. But ultimately, things happened that made me realize that the thing that I said earlier, I'm going to
Mm.
live alone and I'm going to die alone, and it is going to be like, what did I do with my life? Every day
Okay.
I wake up and I do what is expected of me. I study, I
Mm,
do my job and everything. But in the deepest corners of my heart, I want to do
mm,
something else. So that
mm,
that particular spark from the deepest corners of my
mm.
heart is what makes me want to keep writing, even though it is
Okay.
very difficult to balance my job with with
Mm.
everything, job and personal life and family life, and then there is this writing, so it's very difficult.
Okay. So what advice would you give to someone who is trying to juggle a full-time career with a creative passion, but fears they might have to choose between the two?
There is no choice. You are
Mm,
who you are. Your career got selected, or you chose your career later in life, after you passed school and college and everything. Then you became a
mm,
professional. But as far as the creativity is concerned, the creativity was inside
mm.
you long before you even got into school. So
Okay.
you were mostly, I'm sure there are exceptions, but mostly people are born with certain talents and certain creativities and certain
Mm,
aspirations and certain affinities. You cannot run away from them, and you should not run away from them. Find time.
mm.
It is
I
going to be a
agree.
challenge. It is going to be a challenge, and it is worth spending time. It is worth giving your effort to find time out of your
Mm,
personal life, out of your all your responsibilities and everything that you do. It is worth giving time to yourself, your passion, your creativity. So if you are a
mm.
writer, don't stop writing.
Okay. I think this is the best advice ever. So this question is the most asked question. Have you ever faced resistance from family or colleagues for choosing to write while also working as a doctor? How do you handle societal expectation in this regard?
Oh no, no,
Mm,
not exactly. I mean, uh, my colleagues and my friends, they are not affected by my writing, because
mm,
obviously I'm not even thinking about writing or not even thinking about books when I'm working. But my family has supported me. My family has supported me. They have they have known that I have this creative,
mm,
uh, thought process, and I want to write. So my family has supported me. Without the support of the family, I wouldn't have been able to publish anything. Writing, I
okay.
can write, I can write in my notepad and everything, but the time and effort it takes to finish something and to get it
Mm,
out in the open, in the real world, get it published and then talk about it and sell it, that takes time
mm,
and effort, and my family has supported me, which is why I have been able to do it.
okay. So how do you deal with the fear of not being able to give 100% to both of your medical career and your writing career?
I don't think about it like that. It's not like I have to give 100% to my job and 100% to my family and 100% to. It doesn't
Mm,
get divided like 30%, 30%, 30% in three,
okay.
three sections. It is like when I am at my job, I am at my job 100%. When I am with my family, I am with my family. When I'm writing, I'm writing. It
Mm,
is there is some uh, overlap, obviously, but
okay.
it doesn't get your focus doesn't get divided by three. If you are trying to juggle three things.
Hmm. So, for those who are passionate about both their professional careers and creative pursuits, what key lessons or piece of advice would you offer about being balanced in life?
Bring balance in life comes from you. No one
Hmm.
else is going to come to your life, inside your career, inside your family, inside your own life, and say that do this, then you will
Hmm.
be able to balance your passion and your career and your family.
Okay.
It doesn't happen. It has to come from you. You can
Hmm.
read self-help books, you can read, you can get advice from others, but at the end of the day, it's your life, and you have the reins. You have to make the decisions, even the tough ones. You have to take the
Okay.
call, and you have to
Hmm.
be in charge of your own life.
So, can you give a small guide or a roadmap who wants to write their first book from starting from when they get the idea that they want to write a book? How it will go?
uh, First of all, even before you have a story in mind,
Hmm.
what I want people to think is why they are writing. I mean,
Okay.
there may be a lot of motivations behind your writing. The
Hmm.
purest one is that I want to say something. I want to make people. I want to tell my story to people. Or
Hmm.
there may be some other motivation, like I want to become a bestseller and I want to earn money. Or
Hmm.
there may be something like I want to get noticed. I want people to remember me when I'm gone. I want people to have their bookshelf filled with my creations. There can be
Hmm.
anything. No motivation is right or wrong, but
Hmm.
unless you have your own purpose, unless you have your own motivation, unless you have the why, you should not start thinking about the how and the what. This is
Okay.
something you may remember, you may have read somewhere, but
Hmm.
there is a TED talk, and Simon Sinek is one of the motivational speakers. He talks
Hmm.
about how, why, how, and why. So this is something very
Okay.
close to my heart. I have heard about it. I have read about it. I have even spoken
Hmm.
about it in one of my YouTube videos. That first of all,
Okay.
first question that you ask yourself is why. Once
Why?
that is clear, then
Hmm.
I'll give you my you know tips to start writing.
Okay.
It is good if you have a complete layout of what you want to write,
Hmm.
complete start, middle, climax, and conclusion.
Hmm.
Or if you don't have that, if you only have an idea, go
Hmm.
for it. Start writing.
Okay.
At one point of time, it
Hmm.
so happens that the you feel like the story is actually writing itself. The characters are actually speaking inside your mind, and you don't
Hmm.
need to have any other external input, any other motivation or anything else. You just write. You just listen to the characters inside your head, and you write it.
Hmm. Okay.
So two things. First, uh, either if you have a full story in mind, begin
Hmm.
with a layout. If you don't have a
Okay.
full story in your mind, don't worry, it will come. Start writing. Just
Hmm.
never give up, never stop writing. If you are a writer, you are a writer.
Yes, that's the best part. So there are a lot of questions in readers' mind, like in writer's mind, with which publishing options should they go with, hybrid publishing or traditional publishing? And there is one more in today's self-publishing. What do you think about this?
My experience has been not good with self publishing, and
Okay.
I would only say that publishing is the easy part. So
Hmm.
if you have to publish yourself, and you think uh, you want to go to both paperbacks and ebooks,
Hmm.
then you have to select any of the services of one of the self-publishing houses in India.
Hmm.
Choose the lowest amount of money that you want to spend on publishing.
Okay.
Go for the basic package. Only get the publishing done by self-publishing houses or the companies.
Okay.
because anything else like the editing, the formatting, the cover design, the marketing, the promotion, the reviewing, everything
Mm-hmm.
is a matter of money. If you
Mm-hmm.
spend it wisely. Don't give it directly to the publishing houses. And
Okay.
as far as traditional publishing goes, well, I have not been able to attract traditional publishers to my work, so
Mm-hmm.
I won't even advise people to try and spend years thinking about traditional publisher. One of the traditional
Traditional
publishers will
publishing.
come to you
Mm-hmm.
and they will find your story good. I mean, worth printing. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
if you have time, if you have patience, then it's okay. If you want to write just for your own passion, go for self
Okay.
publishing and promote it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing.
Okay. So I think we are done with the question now. We will move to rapid fire round. But before this, if you have to say anything, it's your time. Now you have to summarize or do anything related to your books. Now you can do it.
Oh, great! Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a unique opportunity. So, what I want to do and what I want to say is this. Uh, this is my book. People,
Mm.
go ahead and read this. So the thing is, I have published this book, The Broken Boyfriend, and it is available on Kindle, both to purchase and on Kindle Unlimited. It is available on paperback. It is available on hardcover. So hardcover
Mm.
has a different cover design than the paperback. So everything that I have done is through passion. I have loved writing this. I have loved making the cover designs. I have done it myself. So I have loved
Mm.
making the covers. I have loved choosing the characters. I have loved thinking about. I mean, editing, the whole editing process.
Okay.
I finished writing the first draft of this in
Mm.
January this year, and after that you can understand it's like 8 months passed since after which
Okay.
it was finally ready to be published. So go
Mm.
ahead and give the same love that you have given my previous book, The Fourth Kiss. Give the same love to my new book, The Broken Boyfriend. Thank you.
Okay. So can you summarize this a little bit about both of these books? Can you summarize both books?
Okay, so summarily, my both books are contemporary
Mm.
romances, and
Okay.
they are linked. Even though they are both standalone books, you can read
Mm.
one without reading the other. That is okay. But the two characters you see in the cover,
Okay.
they are uh, Rishi and Preeti in the first book.
Okay.
Rishi's younger brother,
Hmm.
he is Harsh, and Preeti's cousin, younger cousin, is Kajal.
Hmm.
So those two characters who are mentioned in the
Hmm.
fourth kiss have gone into the main to become the main characters of this. So even though they are
Okay.
completely different stories, completely different storylines, but there are overlapping characters. And the thing is, the first story was how Rishi, who
Hmm.
once was in love, but his love story didn't pan out. He wasn't able to marry his girlfriend, and then ultimately went
Hmm.
for arranged marriage. But then even the plan for arranged marriage fell through because of other reasons. Then he felt a crisis of faith, a kind of you know
Hmm.
crisis of I can't say midlife crisis because he's still in he was still in his 20s, but it
Teenage.
was like yeah, it's not something that can be called midlife crisis, but it was crisis of
Hmm.
existence, existential crisis. Then his relationship with his parents, then his own ambition, his career got into the way, and ultimately he came to a position where
Hmm.
where he was lost. He was working,
Okay.
he was earning, but he was lost. He had no future. Then the heroine, the Preeti, she comes back into his life, and then they
Hmm.
realize that what they were looking outside has been inside all along. That
Okay.
is the main story of the premise of the first book. The second book is
Hmm.
much more complicated than that, because of course it is only about two characters, Harsh and Kajal.
Hmm.
But Harsh is a doctor, and
Hmm.
Kajal is also a academician. She is doing her PhD, and
Hmm.
their love story, eh, they love each other since they were children. But
Okay. Childhood
somehow,
romance.
yeah, but somehow they started living in different states, and their long distance relationship could not weather this problems of time. Then
Hmm.
some tragedies happened, and then they started drifting apart, but they did not leave, they did not give up. They kept
Okay.
trying to get back together. But ultimately what happened is something that broke their relationship. Whether they ended
Hmm.
up back together or not is something you will have to find out after reading it. But it is not very straightforward. Yes, childhood romance. There is a tragedy, and they get back together. There is a lot of heartbreak going on. There is a lot of
Hmm.
rebellion going on in this book, and there is of course COVID-19. So this story takes place from 2016 to 2021. So 2020 and
Hmm.
21 there is COVID. So even COVID has something to do in how their relationship pans out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, do you want to add something, or we should move with rapid fire round?
We can move with the rapid fire.
Okay. So one word to describe your writing process.
Wild.
Okay. Favorite genre to write.
Romance, obviously.
Hmm. The best advice you have ever received.
That is a different one. I'll pass this.
Okay. So one word that describes your depth novel.
Your? Acha, your
Depth novel. First novel.
romantic comedy.
Okay. A character from your books you relate to the most.
Rishi.
Okay. What would you do if you weren't a doctor or author?
I would be trying to get into movies, to
Okay.
direct and write.
Hmm. A favorite book of all time.
Again, that is something of all time. If you say, it would be Angels and Demons
Okay.
by Dan Brown.
So what was your most memorable patient experience?
Patient experience.
Yeah.
Well, I can't talk about that.
Okay.
It is
So now let's
confidential.
move to the next. Okay. I agree. So one thing you can't live without while writing.
My music.
Okay. So what motivates you to keep writing?
My day-to-day activities, everything that happens to me every day, stimulates me to
Hmm.
write.
Okay. So dream writing project you would love to tackle next.
Yeah, epic fantasy romance.
Okay. So you are working on it, or?
It is still in my mind. It has been in my mind for more than 10 years, but somehow
Okay.
I have since it is such a huge topic, huge project. I have still not been able
Hmm.
to start it.
So one word to describe your personal philosophy on balancing work and passion.
Versatility.
Okay. So now let's move to the this or that session. You have to choose only one option. Okay.
Yeah.
Fiction or non-fiction.
Fiction.
Okay. Plot-driven stories or character-driven stories.
Character driven.
Love stories or thrillers.
Love stories.
Happy endings or bittersweet endings.
Bittersweet.
Writing in solitude or with music in background. I think with music.
With music.
Hmm. Books or movies?
Books.
Editing your own work or getting someone else to do it?
Editing my own work.
Okay. So outdoor walks or indoor thinking sessions?
Indoor.
Simplicity in writing or complex storylines?
Complex storylines.
Hmm. Being a doctor or being an author, if you had to choose one for the rest of your life?
Yeah, that's difficult. Okay, I'll go with being
Yeah.
a doctor.
Okay. So writing a sequel or starting a completely new story?
Completely new story.
Research before writing or writing freely and figuring it out later?
Figuring out later.
Okay. So we are done with question now. Last question. How is your experience in TLB?
Oh, yes. So I think I have been in TLB for 1.5 months or even more.
Mm.
And I have been with other book clubs also, but this is something else entirely. I think TLB
Okay.
is something, TLB is trying to become a platform like no other platform. There are
Mm.
hiccups there, obviously, but the most important one being it is still online. We haven't had
Mm.
a offline session or a offline meet, but TLB is something that I think I'll be with for a long, long time.
Okay. So I'm done with interview. So do you want to add something more or?
So yes, of course, we have talked about myself, we have talked about my books, we have talked about how
Mm.
I wrote, how I published, and everything. There is one more thing that I think
Mm.
everybody should know, that after publishing my first book, whatever lessons I learned, whatever things
Mm.
I faced, I started trying to push this to other people. I mean, I started giving advice and giving way forward to other writers. So if there are any budding authors, if there are any writers who feel
Mm.
that writing is their passion but they are not able to focus enough, or they are finding any roadblocks, check out
Mm.
my videos in my YouTube channel, The Versatile Doctor. There is a complete of course I upload a lot of videos on a lot of different stuff, but
Mm.
the stuff that I upload on self publishing will definitely
Mm.
help you.
Okay.
It's writing a book in your laptop, on your phone, or on the piece of paper, that is
Mm.
difficult, but it is not as difficult as what comes next. What comes
Okay.
next is revising, revision. Sometimes it takes more time to revise and edit than it took to actually
Mm.
write. Then the proofreading, editing, and everything. Then comes the part of publishing. It's no joke. I mean, yes, of
Mm.
course, if you are someone like J.K. Rowling or Dan Brown, your stories are of that caliber,
Mm.
then of course someone will come and see that your stories are like diamonds. You are one in a million storytellers. But
Mm.
if you are not that god level, then you
Mm.
need to you need to know that you should never give up. You should still write.
Mm.
Even those god level writers, those authors, they also started like this. They
From
also
zero.
started, yeah, from zero. They also started with short stories. They also started with going to 100 publishers and getting rejected.
Mm.
Then they got their break. You will get your break, but you unless if you
You
give
have
up,
to
you
keep
won't.
working on it.
Yes, that's all.
Mm. So now let's wait for some question if someone has to ask anything.
Divyanshi has given a comment that's really commendable, how you are helping others with your experience. Thank you, Divyanshi. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. And somehow we don't have any questions on the chat.
I think I have some question. Wait a minute. How do you deal with your writer's block, especially with the busy schedule?
See, you gave the answer yourself. I actually have never felt writer's block because it is just the opposite for me. I feel like I have something in my mind which I have to write, but I don't get time to write. So
Hmm.
it is just the opposite of writer's block. When I feel writer's block, well, then I'll think about what to do. But at this moment, I feel like I don't have time enough to write whatever it is in my mind.
Hmm. What's your favorite part of writing process? Creating the story, developing characters, or the editing?
Well, it is creating the story. The creation part
Okay.
is, it's like you are in a different world. It is
Hmm.
uncomparable.
Okay. So, what are the common myths about the writing field?
Myth, yes, of course, there are myths like you think you put something on paper and it is gold. This is a
Hmm.
common myth that I have written something from the bottom of my heart and
Hmm.
it will be good enough for everybody to read. This is a myth, and it doesn't work that way. You have to work on your story after you have written it. You have to refine it. It's like a stone. It's like a
Hmm.
gemstone. Unless you polish it, it is just a rock.
Okay. So, how do you handle criticism or feedback from readers
Well,
or
yes,
patients alike?
it's a difficult, but it is a part of the process. Sometimes
Hmm.
I feel like people who give some negative comments, they are being harsh, but I think it is a part of the creative process to
Hmm.
handle feedback. I'm always open, however much it may hurt me, but I'm
Hmm.
always open, and I have never asked any person to change their review after they have written it.
Hmm. So, there is one more question. If you could change one thing about the healthcare system, what would it be?
I would make medical insurance mandatory.
Okay. So, we are done with questions. So, do you want to add something, or we should end this session at a happy note?
Yes, so the final thoughts to all the people listening, to all the people watching, thank you so much for joining. And of course, give your love to TLB, the Digital City. Come join us and become a part of our family. And also give your love to the Versatile Doctor, my YouTube channel, my Instagram. And yes, don't forget to read the book
Read
and so
these
on.
books.
Yeah, thank you.
So, guys, go and check out his books. And so, now let's sign off.
Okay, thank you, Ayush, so much. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you, TLB, the Digital City. We both are parts of this city, and we both want more and more people to join.
Yes, that's our
Yeah,
motive. So, signing off
sure.
for today. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Bye.